Well, good morning, all. This is Patricia, and I am traveling for history. And today's show is really meaningful to me because I received a notice from YouTube, and we'll show you that in just a moment. It made me, I was really surprised. Happy birthday to your channel. 4 times around the sun, and you're still going strong. Way to go. I've never received a notice like that before. And so I'm starting my 5th year on my YouTube channel, Traveling for History. It's as remarkable to me as perhaps it is to you as well. So I figured this is the first of a few I'm going to have throughout the year of particular videos that I want to talk more about. And the first one is the very first video I put up on my channel. Now, understand that I had filmed a whole bunch of videos in February at Lakeview Cemetery, and I felt that every single one of them was absolute trash, garbage, rubbish, pick one of those words, or even worse, and deleted every one of them. They weren't of any quality whatsoever that I was willing to put out there for others to see. So the very first one I put up was of the gazebo, which is right there. Now, some stuff behind the scenes, you may be wondering what the heck was wrong with me. The list is so long. But, excuse me, this gazebo at Lakeview Cemetery is in the Adirondack style. So we know that because if you look closely, you can see that it's being held up by sticks and branches and stuff like that, which is characteristic of the Adirondack style. But Adirondack style, I would read the information ahead of time, and then I would press record, and then Adirondack style, what the heck is that? Totally gone from my mind, totally gone from my mind. It's just insane. And then I would pause, I would stop the video, and then I wonder, what am I smoking today? Because clearly something's not working in my brain. Nothing, for the record. But holy cow, just why? Why couldn't I remember this stuff? I don't know. It was about 4 or 5 takes to get Adirondack style into the video. And I really had to talk about that because I remember when the Friends of Lakeview Cemetery were talking about having this place restored and having it back out for the public to see. It's characterized generally as being a place for people to sit in the shade. There is a nice breeze there. It's down pretty far towards the lake portion. You get a nice view of the lake from there. But I think it was a place to shelter if there was going to be a eulogy or even a graveside service, because there are benches along 3 of those sides, and in the corner there's a little place for someone to stand, someone thin to stand. I mean, I can stand there as well, but it wouldn't be very comfortable for very long. But there is a little bit of a raised step in there too. So yeah, it's. I love to, when I go to Lakeview Cemetery, and I'm still filming there, there's still plenty to film, but it was when I was filming there was snow on the ground, the wind coming off the lake. Nobody wants to experience the wind off the lake, necessarily. And it was then, though, that I realized, oh, there's a fountain nearby. I happen to really love the fountain. I believe there had been 3 fountains there. The largest one will not be returning because that's the cremation garden now. But this one, I love the story with this one here. First of all, it's not a functioning fountain because, excuse me, it has no water pipes connected to it. And when I was filming it, I decided to jump down into into that fountain where the water had been. It's deeper than it looks because of the amount of leaves in there. So it's like thwunk, swoosh. So I sunk down into the leaves a bit. Clearly I was able to get out because here I am. But what I find really extraordinary about this particular fountain is that they had a piece of it and old photos or maybe old postcards. And from there, they put it back together. You know, they fabricated some things, as I understand it, but they had parts and pieces, and they put it back together. It's I find that extraordinary when people are that talented that they can just do that. There are swans at the bottom, and but I'll tell you, the fact that there was a fountain so close to the gazebo, so just to the right of the gazebo, you see that cement square there. There's piping in there, so the piping would have been there to add to the fountain, but they don't have any piping there whatsoever. And you can see just beyond there also, you can see the fountain to the right of the gazebo. I'm not sure I ever noticed it prior to that, to be honest, but it occurred to me that another opportunity to, as long as I'm freezing cold, I may as well go film something else because it's right there. So always things to think about if you are someone else who goes forth and films outdoors. If you're new at this, to keep in mind what else you could film nearby. And still, I need to remind myself of such things because I will forget, even though I'm always on the lookout for state historic markers. The next thing I want to talk about is one of my favorite things ever, and that's the Slate History Trail, which this is a part of. I actually have, that video is in 3 segments on my channel. This is one of them. This is probably part 2, actually. But you can see this is back in 2022. And I had gone there the first time by myself. It's down across from the entrance to the Lake Bomoseen State Park. So the trail is outside of the state park. You can find the trail map online that you can print, you can download for free, you can print for free. If you are there when the state park is open, you don't have to go into the state park. You can park on the road to walk this place. And they actually have a really nice version of the history trails, nice pamphlet kind of trail map. The trail is really, really, really easy to walk. They do label it as easy, and they should. The only thing I would caution against is that mill. That's an old mill, by the way. That if you're going to go in the fall, which is 2 of the times I went were in the fall, and if the leaves are wet, there is slate underneath of the leaves because it was a slate mill. So slate is very slick when it gets wet. So you want to be careful of that because I did slip, and no phone service. You want to be mindful of those kinds of things, and that it's not suitable for people who are using wheelchairs. I'd be mindful of that too. It's because they describe it as handicap friendly. Parts of it are handicap friendly, and near the entrance, so you start in, and then there's this hill. It's steep enough, but it's not well labeled right there either. I wasn't sure if I needed to double back or just continue forward. You want to continue forward. You'll see this itty bitty, this little piece of wood with an arrow, which is like this big, and low to the ground. Granted, I'm low to the ground myself, but it's hard to see over a hill. So they need a little bit better signage right there. But it's definitely worth the visit. So worth the visit, in fact, that I convinced two friends for different times of the year to go and see this place with me. So I've been there 3 separate times, worth it each time. It wends its way through a ghost town, actually, West Castleton, which shipped slate items all over the United States. Trains are a beautiful thing. And this was one of my favorite trails ever. I'd like to walk trails in state parks, but this was really extraordinary. And if you go in the fall, I've been twice in the fall, highly recommend the fall, first of all. It's much easier to see the mills through the trees there, because there are two. There's one that's more intact than the other, but don't be swooning thinking, oh wow, it's really intact. No, not really intact. It's just more intact than the other one. I wish the state would take far better care of this. These could be extraordinary places to visit, rather than watching out what you're stepping on, because of course leaves cover these slate pieces. But you can see that the walls have toppled, and that's going to be the case. What was also interesting about that is that they were stacked stones, stacked slate pieces, just stacked. They were not connected with any sort of rod to rest through. Nothing like that. It's just stacked stone. So I just found it really amazing, really amazing. And if you can go, why not go? Of course, if you can't go, there are my videos you can watch instead. So, I have close to 1,400, if I'm not at 1,400 already on my channel. That picture at the top, that banner picture, that is the Hoover Dam that I had photographed, but I wasn't filming because I didn't have my channel back then. But so the next two are of the Sheldon Poor Farm Cemetery. Now, I do have a penchant for filming in the wintertime, and when you look at this picture, you can see there are branches on the ground, and where it's located is across from where the Poor Farm used to be in Sheldon, Vermont. So what's nifty about that is the poor farms in the United States closed in the 1960s. The very last one to close was the one in Sheldon, Vermont. It's been torn down. As I understand it, most of the poor farms, if not all of them, have been torn down. But you know they exist because there's a poor farm road practically everywhere. Certainly in Vermont, I've driven by all sorts of poor farm roads. But it's just interesting that the Sheldon one is the last one to close. This cemetery here is not very big overall. We can see it's not well cared for either. It hasn't been raked. We can see that from the branches that have come down that are covered in snow. Now, I do know that the Vermont Old Cemetery Association, rather, had gone and worked their miracles there, cleaned the headstones and straightened them and all that beautiful stuff that they do. So they really worked well, they work miracles wherever they go. But it just felt so lonely. So if you can picture this, Google Maps did not get me there. You have arrived. Well, there were thick woods on either side of the road, so I had not. I did correct that, so you should be able to get there now with Google Maps. But across the road from it is a mobile home. And someone did tell me that the barn is still standing, but that wasn't across the road. And then you have to find the entrance, because there's a lot of metal fencing that's dilapidated, but there's a lot of metal fencing before, there's the entrance right there. So walking in, it just felt lonely. I mean, certainly some cemeteries feel that way, and maybe you have felt that as well when you're out and about looking at cemeteries, visiting them, as I do. But it was particularly sad because when I think of Lakeview Cemetery in Burlington, Vermont, for instance, there is a section of poor people whose graves are numbered, and some of those records have burned. So I've thought of them as unwanted in life and forgotten in death. So that's I find that very sad. Now, at the Sheldon Poor Farm Cemetery, practically all of them have their names, their full names, first and last names on those headstones. I didn't send over a photo of one, but you can watch my videos on that. It's in 2 parts. I walked the entire cemetery and filmed every headstone. And I remember one of them had the last name of Watchtower. It was something like that. Such an unusual last name that I conducted a brief bit of history on that family name, and I found a corresponding name of a woman buried in St. Albans. So Sheldon and St. Albans are in the same county, as I recall. But that was also the very first time I had ever known that my videos were added to someone's website. That is, on YouTube, that is an automatically checked box. You can uncheck it, but why? Why would you want to? This encourages people to look at more of my videos, and the person happened to reach out to let me know, because people with websites can do that automatically. It's the Sheldon Historical Society website, and you should check it out. They have some wonderful photos there. So that was one of the coolest things ever. Since then, I do know of other historical societies who have added my videos to their websites. One that springs to mind immediately is the South Hero one. They have the South Hero Bicentennial Museum there. It's a great place to visit, and it's a donation. It's a wonderful museum. Highly recommend that you go visit it. Show them some love. They are open year-round on Wednesdays. I don't remember the hours for them, but you can Google them. Lovely people work there, volunteer there, are there. They can answer questions. I don't care how unusual. Ask it, because they know the answers. But I know that when I had filmed there, it was funny. I had gone there, and I was told about this whole South Hero celebration event, and by someone who is a volunteer in Grand Isle, but same county. So she told me all about, I should go to film. If we're going to go, you got to go on that particular day, which I did. It was remarkable. You can watch my videos on that. But I decided to pop into their museum, and the South Hero one, and I asked if they minded if I filmed. That's what I had asked, and the woman there said, I don't want to lead a tour. And I'm thinking, did I ask that? I don't think I did. I think I just said, I asked if she minded if I filmed. And sure enough, the president of the organization and another prominent member of the board came over and gave this fabulous tour of the place. Recommend you watch those 2 videos as well, because it is always fabulous to have a tour led by someone who is really engaged with the material. I can't say enough about that. So you can go on, last I knew they were open on Wednesdays. When they're open for the season, when the season is upon us, when places tend to open, they are open Sundays and Wednesdays, last I knew, but always check their website to get the latest, greatest information. But they added all of my South Hero videos to their website, and I'm grateful for when that happens. Really appreciate it. So as a creator, I would hope that places where you are filming, that maybe they want to add your videos to their websites as well. If you're doing, whatever you're doing, that other places would do that. And certainly want to show you the photograph of, and talk about this video. My most viewed video ever, by far, is titled, "Was He Buried Alive?" I happen to love that title. It's a grave of Dr. Timothy Clark Smith. He's buried in Evergreen Cemetery in New Haven, Vermont. And that mound there is where he's buried. Well, you see, it was published on October 30, 2021. 2021. I knew I wanted to film his grave because I thought it would get me some views. And what I can say about the views is that since published, it has had over 26,200 views and over 1,000 watch hours. The 1,000 watch hours was over the last 30 days. I've gained, I think, 192 subscribers because of that video as well. And, Evergreen Cemetery, like every cemetery I have seen so far, is open from dawn till dusk. So essentially when it's dark, don't be in there. Cemeteries are filled with trip hazards. There are plenty of children's graves. Those headstones are quite short. There are plenty of so you have like a family monument, and then the family headstones are much smaller. They're low to the ground, and they're easy to trip over. You have gravestones that have toppled, also easy to trip over. Now the grave mound here, he's buried under a grave mound because this man was terrified of being buried alive. He died in the late 1800s, and embalming was not as well practiced as certainly today. So he was terrified of waking up under 6 feet of dirt. You're not going to get out of you're not going to get out of that alive. So he devised many schemes to make sure that people were paying attention, including the most famous thing, a window down to his face. I think he had the bell cord wrapped around his finger. He had a breathing apparatus. I had read that that he was kept out of the grave for, 3 weeks, to make sure that he was absolutely dead as a doornail, dead, completely dead. No pulse, no breathing, dead. But he wanted to make sure that he was not buried alive, and nobody wants that. But yeah, my most viewed video ever. I had people commenting that they see the face. People who say that's not possible because of all the fog. There is a lot of fog. The seal broke. Someone said they wish that someone would go in and fix the window. And someone commented on that. Well, but think about how traumatic that would be for whoever was doing that. So comments are always amazing to me, what people say and all that good stuff. I've had a bazillion comments, mostly positive, a few not so positive. A lot of them I'd leave up. I did have someone who said in one of my shorts videos, I didn't show you any of the pictures of shorts videos, but I have a lot of them, because I believe that everything falls under the umbrella of history. So if someone's using a bunch of leaf blowers and blowing leaves and swirling them, that is a part of history. And but I had someone comment, "I know where you live," because I had filmed from my patio. The person went on to say another time, because they deliver for a local delivery company, I delivered to one of your neighbors. I wasn't home that day. I was out filming. So glad I was out filming. Because if he knocked at the door, I have no idea. He also posted in the comments what was across the street from me. So I deleted that one. I deleted when he typed in the name of the place I live, deleted that. Some people get, I can't block people on YouTube, and quite frankly, why would I want to? I want them to watch my videos, but I can hide their comments. They can see their comments all day, every day, and no one else does. I'm not notified because there is no new comment, because they commented and they're hidden. But this is this is just quite the thing. It's quite the thing. I can't believe I'm starting my fifth year. Holy cow, time flies, as they say. So throughout this year, I'm going to have shows like this where I talk about specific videos and why they're important, to me anyway. And hopefully you'll enjoy them as much as I. But this is pretty cool. That first slide that you saw, that first picture I showed you. Happy birthday to your channel. That still makes my day to see that, and that's just wild, just wild. Alrighty, well, stunning as it is, we have spent about 30 minutes together today. I know, time flies again. It just does. But this is Patricia, and I'm traveling for history. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. I hope the rest of your day is absolutely fabulous. And until I see you again, thanks for watching. Bye now.